Hey there, Juan Morales here, and in today's episode of Smart Distinctions, we're going to go over the idea of how to find the client that you can really help the most, but not just that you can help the most theoretically, but the one that you can help the most so they get the most results in the fastest way. And the fastest way to do this, and the fastest way to think about this whole thing, is to think about who is the client that is currently being held back from achieving the level of success they could achieve because they're missing the piece that you have. Many times we make the mistake of selling from the idea of pushing forward. So then it becomes a nice idea. It's a nice to have. And a lot of times, especially when we're selling high ticket stuff, many of these things come off as, yeah, let me think about it. Because all it is a good idea that has a lot of potential for them and could help them develop more profits and all these things in the future. So they see it as this potential project. However, one of the things that I like to do, especially when selling, is that if you are talking to the person, you're always with that idea in mind of trying to figure out if they're currently being held back from where they could be because they don't have whatever it is that you have. And this is a different perspective than who could they be if they implemented all the stuff that I have. And the reason for this is when we look at that second question, who could they be if they implemented all this stuff, we're talking about a potential. And then what happens is because we're putting that on top of someone that we don't know what their past history is, we don't know what their track record is, we don't know what they've done before and what they've learned before, because all these life experiences lead to whether that is the thing that you need or not. So what happens is many times we are trying to sell and we're coming from the idea of, listen, I need to make those numbers, or I want to close a sale, or just feeling good about closing a sale. I mean, there's so many things that are attached to it. But just think of how when what you're doing is behaving like a savior for someone else. When they're coming in and they're giving you their last few bucks, or maybe not their last few bucks, but they're giving you something because they believe that you're going to come in and everything's going to turn up okay for them. It's going to turn around just because you showed up. In reality, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that for a lot of people, and it works like that for the right people. Now, who are the right people? And that leads me back to the question that I shared with you earlier. The right people are the ones that are currently held back from where they could be because they don't have what you have. So let's think about it. Let's say that you're talking to business owners that have been successful but don't know any marketing. And they've been successful in spite of them not knowing any marketing. They're really held back because they don't know marketing. Now, they have a successful business. They just don't know that it could grow to 10x where it is now just based on adding a few things that are currently holding them back. Versus someone else, right? Let's say someone who's thinking about getting into the online world and they don't have the discipline. They're not a business owner. They haven't gone through the motions. They don't understand what it is, right? So you come in and you promise all these things that can happen, but they're not the right person because all these other things are going to happen along the way and your system's probably not set up for those. This is when we get into working with a client that does not fit, does not take action on what we say, does not follow through on what needs to happen, versus working with someone that they're doing it anyway, and you're just coming in and you're making sure that they do it the right way so that it has the most effectiveness and the most impact for the business. And this can be anything, but you always want to think of who's the person that's being held back right now because they don't have what I can give them. Because that person, my friend, is the person that's going to get not only the most value from what you're saying, but their results are going to be the easiest because they have everything else in place. They're just missing what you have. Let's say you're talking about helping someone promote something. Well, imagine if what it is they have a bunch of products that they're not selling right now, and they have, let's say, 10 products that they're not selling. And they could be selling. But they're held back because they don't have a promotional service that can go in and help them with those products and put them out there and keep selling. The products are great. They've already been built. The pages are built. There's a lot of stuff that's already there. It's just the link hasn't happened. They're being held back because a few actions are not taken in the right moment. And if you can come in to that situation and make those sales or make that connection or just basically plug it in and start selling, now all of a sudden you stepped into a situation where you didn't have to research, develop the marketing, put it out there. Like, you didn't have to do many of those steps because they were already done. And this is, again, the difference between a setup and a challenge, right? The setup is somewhere where the person is being held back because of the lack of what you can bring. The challenge is this person that is there and wants to believe that they have the potential to create something great. But what happens is you're going to give them whatever it is that you bring to the table, and chances are it's going to be an incomplete solution for them because they needed other things, including experience, including building a team, including picking a market. All these things need to be in place for your thing to be successful. If you work with someone that does not meet the criteria that you need, and that's the criteria of being held back, what's going to happen is you're going to sign them, they're going to give you money, it's going to feel like it's going to work out, but then down the line, it's not working out. The client's upset. You're upset because it's not working. Why do that? When instead you can focus on looking for the people that are just currently being held back from the results they could be achieving if they added what you bring to the table. So I wanted to share this one with you because I believe it's a very powerful distinction. It's something that can really help you sort through clients, and also it can really help you figure out who it is that you really want to help. Till next time, this is Juan Morales signing out. I'll see you on the next one.